Just to clarify, and we're already recording, welcome everyone to the Wrestling Review and to show you how professional we are. We're talking about Tajiri today, right, Dylan? Or we're doing a chat episode?
We're talking about Tajiri today, and
Phew!
it
I'm
is
very
true
excited.
what you said off air, John. You do have to come out as straight nowadays. John's been talking about that quite a bit off
I
air, so I
have been.
just
I,
wanted to.
I want everyone to know that the Wrestling Review has finally found its new direction, and that
Mm.
direction is men's rights advocacy.
Ooh,
Guys,
fuck.
why the fuck aren't we growing weird dry beards? Why the fuck aren't we appearing to be that weird, we take HGH, but we're still fucking fat? Why, I want to be one of those guys.
I want to be one of those guys who takes HGH, but your body's just like genetically weird, so my head just keeps on growing. If me and
Yeah,
John
yeah, yeah.
grew HGH, we'd just have like big wrists.
Oh, yeah. Big
It's just our
wrists.
wrist bone would be so big.
We'd have big wrists, and also weirdly, our ball sacks would be very droopy. I would get that kind of steroids. Excuse me. Do your ball sacks look like elephant's ears? Yeah, that's goddamn right, bitch. And oh, we call everyone bitch. For those of you listening at home, Dylan.
Yep.
Dil- Dylan is currently on was on hold for over 2 hours with Via Rail. That's the Canadian Rail Network, and they of course picked up just as we started recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, enough of Dylan got train admin. What did he lose on the train, by the way, guys? His virginity. Oh my God! Dylan no longer has his V card. How does he have a son? Nobody knows. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about fucking Yoshihiro Tajiri. I think possibly, if not definitely, the best wrestler of ECW's final chapter. You guys may not know this, and I'm sure he had a career before or after, but we are focusing purely on Yoshiro Tajiri's ECW career in this episode. For those of you who have the Patreon, by the way, Dylan is filleting an invisible man. He is ghost filleting. Oh, he's telling us we have to keep a secret. Oh, is he fingering himself? Dylan's fingering himself. We're very mature here. So here's all I know about Tajiri is he was essentially brought in to be kind of like if ECW had Hulk Hogan style monsters. Dylan is now full sucking off a water bottle. And you know who else sucked things off? That's Cyrus when he controlled the network, the faction in ECW that Jerry was a part of. Dylan is now getting up and he's walking away from the camera. Oh, he's indicating that the bottle of water would go in his asshole, but hilariously, he couldn't find his ass because he's a no ass having Irish fuck. So it's actually he positioned the water bottle at the small of his back. It's basically he's intimating that if we have penises, he wants us to smush the heads of our penises into the small of his back. Now, for Dylan, that's even funnier because that would be right on his tattoo that says "Delicious" because Dylan did a web series and they didn't properly budget the sound editing, and so Dylan had to be a fucking hero. Had to be a fucking hero and get a tramp stamp. So please head on over to Twitter and tweet at Dylan Got Dylan at Dylan Got. Let me see that tramp stamp, baby. But we're not here to talk about fucking tramps or stamps. We are here to talk about the tarantula himself.
Let's just start again. But that was
Absolutely
the
not.
most helpful person I've ever had on a phone.
Absolutely
She
not.
was
We're not
so
starting again
thorough.
because that was absolutely fantastic, fun riffing, and I had a great time. Go ahead. Welcome to the program now, Dylan Gott. The small of your back has been mushed by our cockheads. You've sucked us off. You fingered us. We fucked you.
Mm,
We're all.
psoriasis medication, well
Oh
sucked,
yeah, the
bro.
sexiest of all skin creams.
Fuck! I love it. I love
I
getting
fucking.
fucking ripped in the ass with psoriasis
Oh
medication.
yeah. Oh, I can feel my overworking immune system be suppressed by the
Ooh,
creams.
stop working so hard, immune system. Take a
Take a
little fucker break,
Take a little
fuckhead.
fucking break, you dumb fuck. So Dylan, did you retrieve your merch from Via Rail?
No, and here's what I did. So
Go
here's
ahead.
what I did. It was I told them because I didn't want to be like, yeah, it's a bunch of posters. One of them says thank you, and I look like a pervert, and the other one says fuck you, and I look like a pervert again. So I
Yeah, yeah.
told them I was an artist, and it was my portfolio. And this woman reacted like I had left my child on the train.
Can I say this right now? Can I say this right now? When she discovers that those posters are just a bunch of things that are printed that say "fuck you" on it, she is going to burn down the National Art Gallery.
Hey, technically, I lost a lot of money because I can sell them for quite a bit at shows. But in reality, not that much money.
Yeah.
Mostly the portfolio that my wife got me, where it's like, and it is, she is right. It was better than carrying them around in a shopping bag like I used to. Once again, my wife was like, "Why don't you do this nice thing?" And I was like, "That'd be fucking stupid. Why you gotta make everything nice?" And then I was like, "Well, this is much better."
Yeah, this is yeah, it's by the way, that is a typical
Wash my
thing.
feet.
That's a very typical thing of the people that we were poor at a certain time, where we were poor
We've
at a
been
certain
poor.
time and for too long. So we have a certain like our base level is
No,
like,
that's
well,
good.
this doesn't hurt. Why are we doing it?
I
This
truly
food's-
think people should not have money for, like, it should be like, you can't have money for 2 years. For 2 years, you have to be like, oh, my protein is tuna. And you have to do that whole thing where you're like, has it been too long? Have I eaten tuna too recently and I'm risking mercury poison? Because I do need more protein in my body. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sweet. It's been 3 days. I can eat tuna again.
I think that you need to be always at a baseline when someone says, "I'm gonna get a hotel." There's a part of you in your brain where it's like, "Look at this fucking king getting a hotel." Doesn't he know
Okay,
you can
buddy.
just-
I guess we can't sleep in the dirt.
Yeah, I guess you didn't know you can sleep at train stations. All you do is you just smoke a lot of cigarettes until you're so tired that you don't care about the germs, and then you just lie there.
You know what I think the perfect human being would be? Is the perfect
Me.
human being would be trying to go full time as an artist immediately. Like, you're 22 and you're like, I'm going to go full time as an actor or whatever, so you have no fucking money. And then you quit after 2 years and you get like a job that helps people. And then that is like, if you, people say teachers and social workers don't make a lot of money. If you did stand up comedy and tried to live off of it for 2 years, like right when you shouldn't have, and then went to be a social worker, you're a millionaire as far as you're concerned. Like, you would just be like eating cans of beans and being like, look at these losers with their purses. I have an old bag I found in a tunnel.
Yeah, hey, get this fucking shit out of your fucking head. Get this. I can just get a coffee at a coffee shop.
That's I still go
Still
to
blows my mind.
restaurants.
Still fucking blows my mind. The idea that I can walk into
Look what I'm doing right now.
Oh,
This is
buddy.
you know what I did? I
do you want to know what's in
rolled
this?
up on a
This mug's
fucking-
full of my piss.
I walked up to some guy who had 2 lattes at Starbucks. I was like, "Can you nut in this?" I'm pretty sure that's a 1 bean. No, but this is hotel coffee.
Of course it is.
I pretty much physically assaulted the nice house care lady for a bunch of free pods.
Oh, of course. Yeah, can you give me
I'm
80
not spending
pods?
$3. I'm not.
Why?
fucking
Why?
Rockefeller.
Because I'm not going to eat any food today because I get a free dinner at the club. So I'm going to get jacked on caffeine as a hunger distraction.
Oh, buddy, we do, and it's at a nice. The Ottawa Yuck Yucks that I'm playing is at a nice Italian restaurant. It's almost like, it's really good. Once again, it is a Yuck Yuck, so it is like at a highway. It's just a highway stop.
It,
wanna
first
go
of all,
to
it's
Metro or
not a highway
Yuck
stop.
Yucks?
Not a highway stop. It is the junction of Carling and Richmond in Ottawa. Dylan is
That's
playing in my
true.
hometown. He is close to what I always referred to as the pedophile mall, Lincoln
Suck
Fields.
Corner.
Suck Corner. Lincoln Fields is because it only ever just had a grocery store and then a Walmart and then a full top floor that was empty except for a bootleg record store. And the amount of old men with long hair you'd see there in the 90s just shuffling, like just absolutely, hey, you want some candy? That kind of place, you know what I mean?
Back when, and this is something I think that is dead and should be revived. Back
Go
when
ahead.
Old guys still tried to dress exactly like they did in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And
also,
now it's like, I'm fucking 43. I'm still young. I'm gonna keep up with the kids. It's like, no, man. You
man.
should still be wearing Echo jeans,
I
so
have
we
to tell
know
you-
how old
Yeah,
you
oh
are.
my
Even
God.
if you aged
get
well,
the
you
FUBU
look
on, you fuck.
Yeah,
Put it on.
exactly.
Put on a
Me, I got
headband.
chalk and eye. I'm telling people how old I am. I'm bald. I'm still dressing like I did when I was 15. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But you dressed fucking great. You dressed like you operated a small
shirt was
paper
$1.
concern.
A small
course it
paper
was.
concern. Yeah.
Are we gonna talk about Tajiri or let's just make this a chat episode? You fucking bitch.
I want to talk about Tajiri.
I do too. I
Tajiri
fucking love
is a
him.
Straight
I
ahead
think
guy.
he is the fucking best. I think that they absolutely missed a fucking trick. I don't give a shit what anyone says about Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn, fuck you. The fucking matches that could have saved ECW, Tajiri, Rob Van Dam. Why don't we have that fucking match? The Tarantula versus the Van Daminator. Everyone suck me. Dylan, suck me. Dylan, come here and suck my dick. Dylan.
Tajiri was duality of being at the exact right time
Duality.
and
What
too
the
early.
fuck? Yes, you're 100% correct.
Because
yeah.
Vince McMahon saw a small Japanese man with
Threw up.
good comedic timing and was like, I've been waiting for this. And
Oh my God.
For
His name will be Pearl Harbor on the first episode. We ball him up.
okay, here's a bunch of sounds. This will be how he talks. We can't do that. No sounds.
Yeah.
Sounds
Linda!
I think are good.
Linda, get me the tape. I'm going to do my impression for him. No, Vince,
Okay,
no.
we're gonna watch all these Looney Tunes cartoons I bought that they tried to burn. Ha ha ha!
Hello, Yoshihiro. Would you like to watch Madam Butterfly with me? I believe it's about your country.
Okay, so your tag team partner is Mickey Rooney, and he's playing the character he did in whatever that movie is, Breakfast at
You
Tiffany's.
will walk out to every fucking lyric to the musical Miss Saigon.
But it's his dream, and also like obviously Tajiri is amazing, and he, like a lot of artists, benefited from the fact that this man did not want to be a Japanese professional wrestler. He didn't really want to wrestle in Japan. He wanted to wrestle in Mexico, which he did, and became fluent in Spanish. And that obviously helped him with his matches with Super Crazy. And he says a big part of his career that really helped was when he went to ECW and he was wrestling Super Crazy, he was trying to be a luchador, and then he saw what Super Crazy was doing, and he said, well, I can't fucking do that. So he just started doing the kicks. Literally, that's what he did. He was like, well, I can't be better than this guy. This guy's way better than me. I can do these things, which is such a smart thing where you recognize I can do the same things he does, but he can do them way easier than I can.
Yeah.
So he can do them with charisma, which I think a lot, like the Young Bucks are just so good that they can do the things they can do are genuinely so impressive. You'll just watch them. But then you get guys like Rob Van Dam, and you get guys like, I think Sammy Guevara falls under this too, where they can do the things that everyone can do so easily. They can be like, oh, I'll just taunt beforehand because I'm so confident I can do this.
I actually kind of agree, and I'm going to sort of differ. I'm going to differ from your point to make a bigger point. I actually think the
Bigger,
young,
stronger, more alpha point.
of course, I'm going to make a Liver King style point.
I'm shirtless. I'm with my wife, who seems ashamed.
Yeah, I'm shirtless. I'm with my wife at all podcast appearances, and I keep claiming these two men are my sons, but they are clearly changing in my Instagram posts. Who else is ready for the eventual murder-suicide to claim Liver King? Because that's where we're headed with Instagram influencers and my smart money.
That is true.
Liver King, he's taken out the liver family. He's going to be found covered in blood in the wood. The tenant of the Primate 11 is to fucking kill your family.
I want to know so much about that guy, so we should.
We could
just like
I
we'll
could
just,
do
like, talk
I could
about
do,
these weird influencers because like
oh my God,
King-
yes.
Liver King is so clearly a rich man. Like
Yes.
he's so clearly like he's like just here's the main thing you should do is do all these like designer steroids and have your own doctor that designs them for your body, and also have a 90-acre field that's specifically built for you to do lunges. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing?
Also, like, if someone is wearing shorts around the world, they have over $1 million. We are doing that idea. We are making the influencer review. We're fucking doing that. Is such a fucking good idea.
They're
Launching
the new
soon.
wrestlers.
We're doing
Pretend everything is real, and if you ask them if it's fake, they look you in the eye and lie. They are
Oh my
truly
God,
the new
yeah.
wrestlers.
Yeah, I've met Logan Paul,
Really?
black guy. No, not true at all. Yeah, imagine it's so fake.
I feel like Logan Paul is like who would you say? I want to say that he's like Brody. He's the Bruiser Brody of influencers because he's pretty freely admitting what he does is bullshit, but not coming out and saying it. Like Bruiser Brody, you could find a bunch of interviews where he's essentially breaking kayfabe but not doing it. Like he's doing out of character interviews, but just
I know
as
exactly.
Bruiser Brody, and he'll be like, "Oh, I only act like that in the wrestling arena because I need to intimidate my opponent." But it's like, no, you're out of character.
But back to your point about the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, I think, much like Tajiri, recognize they went, I can do all the stuff that whoa, is that your dong? A Rob Van Dam could do. But I don't think that whoa, saucy. Oh, that fucking laugh. I don't think that the Young Bucks can do it with the level of charisma that they think they can. I find the Young Bucks matches always a nice, solid 7 out of 10. And here's why.
Interesting.
Is that you go, this is going to be fun. And then you're like, this was fun.
It is like it does for old men like us. It does take me out of the match.
No,
how easily they do things.
I don't have kids. I am not as old as you. We might be the same age, but if you have a kid, you are just 10 years older than me now.
I know responsibility.
You do know responsibility, Dylan. I ate cream cheese on crackers last night at 2 a.m. because I forgot I had dinner, and I was trying to identify why I was so filled with anger. And then I was like, oh, you haven't eaten in 9 hours. And then I ate, took a big shit. You know when it, like you eat a little bit of food and it locks, did that, and then slept like a fucking baby.
Yeah, but what I mean by old is like we are from a point where we're getting and music wise and everything wise, we're close to that thing where it's like back in my day when I was young, things were better.
Very
so
much.
That's what I mean by old. Like we remember when wrestling, like the way we grew up on wrestling. It's hard to be like, oh yeah, the Young Bucks have a great match where clearly it's just more about how athletic they are rather than a personal issue between them and the other wrestlers.
Yeah, it's very much like we have a storyline. They're going to go into this wrestling. They're going to go in this ring and do some stuff that you're going to be like, wow, and then they're going to continue on the storyline. And for my money, I am a big fan of if there's sort of if there's two poles where it's Tony Khan on one side, Jim Cornette's on the other. I'm decidedly in the middle, which is why I love a wrestler like Yoshihiro Tajiri. He's my hero, is because
I don't think he's ever had any flat out personal conflicts, though.
I don't think he ever has. I think what he actually he did in ECW.
Him and Super Crazy is one of the first feuds ever where the whole selling point was, look at how cool these guys are in the ring. Like,
yeah,
do you remember?
It was
completely,
and it was the best selling point.
And then RVD versus fucking
Jerry Lynn. But
Jerry
you're missing.
Lynn.
They would also do it. They would do it. They would do a 3-way match occasionally, also because they did it ECW One Night Stand
with Guido, yeah,
with Little Guido. But again, you're completely right in that was an ECW innovation. The difference was, and the difference is moving forward from those matches with Super Crazy and Tajiri, is that it delivered. It was like, yo, you want to see crazy shit? We're moving away from tables, and now these motherfuckers are going to just kick the fuck out of each other. And you're like, wait, what? And then it's like,
yeah,
holy shit. Because the other thing that no one talks about with Tajiri is that he is the biggest innovator ever, because the tarantula is a move that in 1999, where everyone was DDTing everyone to try and look like they were a high-impact wrestler, he just figured out, if I use the ropes, which no one has ever done, I'm going to come across like a terrifying genius, and he did, and it did. I think that wrestling right now could use 5 guys like Tajiri, which is exactly correct. Good comedic timing, incredibly intimidating when he needs to be, really versatile look, knows exactly what he's capable of in the ring, and is totally fine being mid-card to upper mid-card. We need more of these guys.
Also,
the kicks.
The kicks are... Every single person has copied those, and now it's everyone's. We just talked about the Young Bucks. Like, the Young Bucks just took the leg slap that Tajiri did changed wrestling. Like, you could say, if you're an old piece of shit, you probably maybe say it's for the worse. I think it's just you changed it, and I think it's good. Everyone did it. If it was like from him, and then no one wants to hear this, but Test did it too. Test was one of the guys who was a really good leg slapper.
Absolutely, but what you're also not saying is his kicks look different than everyone else's kicks. Tajiri was, I think, of that period of time, was essentially very much a forerunner for the type of wrestling we have now. But you know what? He's getting in the ring and just like, like it was just so fucking violent looking, and the way he would do those drop kicks, 2 feet low to the fucking face, Jesus. Also, it's the first
Yeah.
time you saw someone doing standing kicks to a prone wrestler on the ground in that way. And it was also the first time, let's be totally honest, that we were seeing a Japanese wrestler in America. And the gimmick wasn't, they are a ninja and well versed in the samurai arts. It was just like, this guy's kind of scary and he's got a flag on his trunk. So we're probably going to say something pretty crazy on commentary. So strap in.
No, his gimmick was that he was part of Father James Mitchell's stable, so it's like he was just Satan. He loves Satan. Here's an Asian guy. He loves Satan, man.
I always interpreted it as the Reverend James Mitchell is evil. He has turned Mickey Ripwreck against the audience and convinced him that he's like an emo demon. And Tajiri is Japanese, and this is wrestling, and we all know what that means. He's evil too. Get in the ring.
Well, he was kind of, his character to end up being just sort of like the Great Muta, which everyone would say.
I absolutely disagree. Everyone I am the only nerd that in COVID literally watched a bunch of the TV and the pay-per-views around the Great Muta's run. They are very different characters. The Great Muta is a lot closer to Kane or the Undertaker. There's all this sort of like, what is the mist? Who is this guy really? Oh, and Tajiri is like literally it's Joey Styles going like, I think this guy just fucked a car. I don't know what's gonna go on.
Yeah, and this is also a time in ECW where he starts out where it's like hey, we have to have one good match on the card is just Tajiri and Super Crazy and Little Guido, and then just pairing up those three combinations and sometime having triple threat matches.
Yeah. So
like, that's it.
And also,
like,
let me just say this. Little Guido, man, is he the pickle in a bag with a sandwich. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I mean, this is fine that he's here, but no one's like, I'll tell you what this match needs. A guy going like this.
Well, also, I like Little Guido because he's the guy who was like, the Royal Rumble, they were like, do you want Goldberg to kill you? And Guido's like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I know.
That Royal Rumble spear is like one of the craziest spots in wrestling history where it's like, this guy's 4 times my size and he's jacked on roids and he truly believes that he could win the heavyweight title of the world. Yeah, he could kill me.
I don't remember this Royal Rumble spot at all.
Look up Nunzio and Goldberg Royal Rumble spear. So Tajiri, what fucking point was it before I got fucking cucked in the mind?
Whoa!
Perfect thing for Tajiri, and this is like, I listened to this interview with Tajiri, and it really was like, oh, I'm not a good comedian, weirdly, because he goes to Japan, he learns how to wrestle in Japan, and then he goes to Mexico, and rather than being like, I'm already a professional wrestler in Japan, he goes to Mexico, and then he gets retrained by Silver King. Like, he gets retrained. He fully goes like, okay, well, how do I do this?
Can I just say this about Silver King? Best wrestling name, worst wrestling appearance. He comes out as a cowboy. Fuck you. Where's your crown?
He's king.
You're the king. Thank you. You're the king. What the fuck?
No, I like it.
Yeah, you would. You like people that are daring. I'm a Silver King. But I don't have
does say,
I don't have a crown.
Tajiri, this is the thing. He says, he's like, did you emulate my Great Muta? He's like, no, man, it was just like a natural. He said it was like a natural evolution of him being with Father James Mitchell, which is crazy. And it's like, he's also a cruiserweight who's legit under 200. You couldn't even list this guy as being over 200 pounds.
No, but but he had an like the way that he was presented, the way he walked.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Is like, he's the first guy where it's like, oh yeah, this guy could beat up The Rock.
It's why I fucking think him. It's the thing. If you compare Tajiri to Jerry Lynn, and Jerry Lynn gets so much more fucking ball washing in ECW than Tajiri, and Tajiri deserves it so much more. He
needs it. Jerry Lynn needs it.
No, he doesn't. Jerry Lynn's fine. He's got a job.
Jerry Lynn needs it because Tajiri, you can put him on TV. Here's a match with Tajiri squash match, and then you're like, yeah, I'm in, whatever. Jerry Lynn needs people constantly talking about, because Jerry Lynn, here's the little secret about Jerry Lynn. He's a really good wrestler. He's fucking boring, man.
Yeah, he's the most boring. Yeah, it was also kind of a boring wrestler. I got news for you.
He's boring.
He's fine. But like everyone's like, those Rob Van Dam matches. It's like, yeah, I love Rob Van Dam too, man. But like,
those Rob Van Dam matches are just like, I'm trying to find out something like a non in wrestling, but it'd be like it's just like Rob Van Dam is great, and Jerry Lynn is just like, I'll make this make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like Rob Van Dam has 900 ideas, And Jerry Lynn's like, okay, I'll format this into a wrestling match. And
Yeah, Jerry Lynn's
Rob Van
boring.
Dam's
He'd be like,
how about I fucking, bro, how about I fucking kick you in your fucking ugly face, dog? And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll make that into a wrestling, okay, and then maybe we'll do this. Yeah, and then after that, I fucking spin, right? I'm fucking spinning. And maybe my dick falls out, your dick doesn't fall out. But, like, what if my dick fell out?
Yeah,
no
yeah.
dick. You keep your dick in your pants.
Okay,
I guess we'll add that in, Jerry loser.
Jer, how about this, though? My dick falls out. My dick's holding the joint. We smoke a joint together, then we fucking dick each other,
I put a joint in the fucking mouth of my cock.
Yeah, bro.
What's that called? The fucking pee hole?
Yeah, I fucking
urethra. Yeah, okay. If you want to get fucking.
Whoa! I didn't
with
fucking
it,
realize
pussy.
we were in fucking France. You fucking loser.
Oh,
Put
God,
on
you're
your
such a
fucking
pussy.
circle. You put on your Barrett hat.
Match stops. I fucking tell you a bunch of shit, like how the banking system really works.
Yeah,
That's the other thing. I grab the mic. I fucking tell the crowd what's it really like.
Jerry, are you aware of something called Brexit? You don't know about it now because it's 1999, but let me tell you something. Old Rob Van Dam, I'm into something called change, baby.
Okay, and then I fucking stop and I say a bunch of the most like fucking messed up Beavis and Butthead quotes.
Can I just say this right now?
Beavis and Butthead shit, and then you leave.
I am so nostalgic for late 90s weed conspiracy theorists. Do you understand how much more fun conspiracy theories were fucking 22, 23 years? Oh, so good. He used to be talking about the moon landing. Now he's like, I find that we're a bit too expansionist. You're like, shut the fuck up, Joe. Joe, shut the fuck up.
Joe Rogan did this, and I think it's still on Netflix. Into his 40s, Joe Rogan thoroughly believed in Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
It was like,
but I have to clarify something. I have to clarify something. That's an American thing. So you know how like all Canadians kind of like the tragically hip, but you, Bigfoot is that to Americans. Like when you live here, like it's one of those things where like, wait, you guys believe in Bigfoot? And they're like, yeah, like yeah, we fucking do, man. And they're like, oh, okay.
Okay, so what if Chewbacca is real?
Yeah, what if I could be friends with Chewbacca and he wants to hunt fucking socialists? And you're like, oh, okay.
I do like the fact that Bigfoot, it does make sense. Like, okay, it's a tall guy that wants to be left alone. Oh, you mean just like everyone's grandpa? Yeah, but no, he's hairy.
Yeah, he's like, but he's a
grandpa,
beast. Though. So, because like I want to like be friends with him, but I also want to kill him and eat him, and I want it to be okay.
This is Tajiri's interesting because if I was to make an all-time ECW roster, he would be way up there. But the time that he is in ECW, which is like to the bitter fucking end,
yeah,
he's in the thing with the Sinister Minister, which I call Father James Mitchell, feuding with the FBI, and he's in a tag team with Mikey Whipwreck, who is like a very interesting character because Mikey Whipwreck comes into ECW as this little boy's gonna die, and then ends it as like this fat guy wants a sub.
Yeah, no, this fat guy wants to sub into worship Satan, and also he might have had sex once.
Ooh.
Yeah,
like, Mikey Whipwreck just gained all this weight and just
I agree.
Like a guy who's
I disagree. I fucking love Mickey Whipwreck. I think that every iteration of him has been great. I love that he went nowhere else. Like it was literally like
he was in WCW.
Was he? For like a second. Like he was like all those ECW guys where it's like, here's Mickey Whipwreck and see you later.
Where they're like, oh fuck, I don't know, sign Mikey Whipwreck? Alright, well he's gone. Mikey Whipwreck looks fucking sick now, by the way.
No, he
was in
not.
WCW in late '99.
Yeah, like, but the best WCW debut is the Sandman. Let's stop fucking around here, everybody.
Man,
like,
I love the Sandman's ECW or WCW run because it was like, yeah, I got steroids. Let's
go.
It's
the best. Yeah, like, oh my god, that guy looks so great. How'd that happen? Oh, he is on steroids, and let's be honest, cocaine. Can I just say this? Mickey Whipwreck really also looks like he believes in Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying?
Mikey, motherfucker. Jesus.
What
Christ.
did I say? Mickey?
You saying Mickey?
I think
Mickey like you trained Rocky.
I thought he should have been called Mickey. I know it was Mikey, but Mickey Whipwreck is so much better.
I like that. I like that you'll just be like, it should have been this. It should have been what I said it was.
Yeah, I live my this is called living your truth, Dylan.
That's actually sick. I live my truth too.
Yeah. Also, we're just covering Tajiri and ECW. Everyone else get fucked. We're not covering everything else. I don't care about
we're not covering when he was Regal's fucking.
Yeah, we're not covering that amazing time when they basically just like William Regal has come out and been like, you know, the Carry On films, we just ripped those off and I rule. And everyone's like, he does. He did it.
So Tajiri Tajiri debuts in WWE on May 24th, 2001, and
Woo!
he debuts as a face. He was his Regal's assistant, and basically Regal's heavy, which I thought was dope because then you could have the duality of like Regal and Tajiri have that like good back and forth, but Tajiri does all his fighting, and people
Completely. And
Regal
also
has such a complicated legacy to me because he's an amazing wrestler, and then he was a shooter at 16, and it's like it relies so heavily on people knowing behind the scenes of wrestling because he was a shooter at 16 and this real legitimate tough guy. But then like if you just follow kayfabe wrestling, if you like accept that as the world that this man has existed in, mostly what he did was like he was just like a guy who had a lot of money who didn't like any American things. Do you know what I mean? So it's very interesting.
What's also very interesting is he is a guy that very much had his in-ring career rewritten by the fact he became a beloved wrestling personality afterwards. Like, I remember when William Regal was in the ring and no one was like, shut up. It's a Steven Regal match on Worldwide.
Well, he was a classic, like, we're going to do it. We're going to make this guy he is viciously addicted to pills. We're going to do it. The pills are back. You know, he was
yeah. Oh, yeah.
How much of an addict you have to be to, like, have your...
How much of an addict do you have to be that they just wouldn't let you leave Alaska? How fucked up are you? So fucked up they're not let him on that plane. That's how fucked up he was, bro.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, you're Jake the Snake Roberts, but Jake the Snake Roberts...
is charming.
I was gonna say his true talent is that he could get it fucking 9-alarm wasted and never show it.
Yeah, by the way, that's the worst type of addict you can be. See, you know what's nice about me? I have 2 beers and you're like, whoa, what's up with Hastings?
Yeah.
Because I just look drunk.
And that's good. That's a good thing. If you're like Jake Roberts, where it's like that guy's had 30 beers, like he's headed for sad times at Ridge High.
Oh my God, I hope he's doing a bunch of. I hope he spends the last parts of his life doing podcasts with an oxygen tank in a way where you're like, I know you're still smoking, Jake. I know you are.
Oh, he smokes cigarettes and loves pilly pills, apparently. But anyway, so Tajiri, I think, is kind of fucked by the Alliance because like Regal turns heel and joins the Alliance. And Tajiri feuds with him throughout late 2001. But it's like you have to shoehorn in this shitty angle when
it was
like
also
Rhino with
Go ahead.
Edge and Christian. Tajiri was off to a great start in WWF, and then he just had to like be absorbed into this shitty fucking alliance.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing in that the Alliance and Invasion storyline was handled so badly it kind of burns any of the good on either side. It's a weird thing about the post-Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era is that remembering it is a lot more fun than living it. I do not remember being jacked for a Tajiri Regal segment at the time, and I was watching wrestling heavy. It's very much been retconned, and you were like, that's pretty good, because it was following all the Mick Foley backstage things, and Mick Foley, when he was the commissioner, was the best.
Yeah, I remember Tajiri and Regal being great together and really playing well off each other, and that classic, like, Regal's such a piece of shit, he's keeping Tajiri down. But then they, of course, because they have weekly television and everyone's on TV 9 hours a day, Tajiri has to turn heel, and he gets Tori Wilson as his valet and makes her be a geisha, because it's 2001, and, buddy, microaggressions don't exist yet.
Yeah, micro what? No, ruthless aggression.
Yeah, ruthless macroaggressions.
Yeah.
Ruthless macroaggressions.
Ladies and
Tajiri, you're wearing this suit that's the same color as your skin because your character is you have no dick because no Asians have dicks.
Dear Jerry, I just watched Full Metal Jacket on the plane. Guess what you're doing? and everyone just, who showed him that movie? I guarantee Jim Ross, who showed Vince that movie? Who did it? Like, do you think they used to get really upset when Vince would just start watching TV?
Oh, just someone would tackle the TV. Like, no one can see, he can't watch King of Queens. We'll have 9 people who work for the UPS next week.
Yeah, he's just watching a documentary on Hitler.
United Pussy Service, United Punching Service, United...
No!
Oh my God, I just watched this great comedy. It was called Schindler's List.
All right, you run around naked and you have a camp and
What?
I got this couple of ideas.
I got this great idea for a heel. His name is Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
I made him up.
He starts as a face. He does all this really good stuff, and then
But then he has to die and then he loses, which is bad.
yeah, then he loses. Then it's bad, and we all cry.
So Tajiri feuds with Maven, which you can tell what they think of.
Oh
him,
yeah.
which is the
Can we
classic.
explain who Maven is? This is an insane thing about wrestling, is that, ladies and gentlemen,
Explaining who Maven is to the people that are on our
So,
Patreon is an insane
we're-
idea. John.
we're not
Who
just
doesn't know who fucking Maven is? Who's paying for this?
so many because if you got into wrestling, say in 2005, and even if you went back, you could be like, oh, this Maven guy's just a wrestler. Maven was the first ever winner of Tough Enough, and they leaned into him being something, and they gave him no
They had
gimmicks.
to.
No, they just didn't do anything with him. They were just like, this guy, I don't know, he looks like speaking of who looks like he was a UPS driver.
But he was on. First of all, Maven was a thotty. Secondly, he had a gimmick, which was I won the reality show. You can't be like this guy won the reality show. Now he's from the desert.
That's what
and-
they should do. They should have had him be who was in that Undertaker promo about the snakeskin boots.
He should have been the boots.
He should have been the boots, yeah.
I'm the boots.
I'm the boot, and I'm the left one.
But he has to be like, I'm Maven. And the other thing was they were like, okay, well, we got to keep this guy off TV because he doesn't know how to wrestle yet. And then they realized how dumb Tough Enough is, where it's like, you've given however many hours of TV time for the viewer to like really start liking these people, but they've been wrestling for a year. So they
Yeah.
can't wrestle yet.
They can't wrestle yet, and the only moment that Maven really had was they had a moment where he eliminated the Undertaker. This really killed his heat because all the commentators were like, "Well, this little child's about to be murdered by the big boy.
Pretty
Big
much, yeah.
big boy going to eat little baby." Also, can I just say this about the Undertaker, who I guaranteed still genuinely is upset at Maven for eliminating from the Royal Rumble? No one has done worse to their legacy, Ric Flair included, than Mark Calloway getting in front of microphones, because we all were like, I wonder what the Undertaker is like. And now, boring dad's friend. Hey, you remember your stepdad who had a shitty brother? That's the Undertaker. Let me see this. I don't really care for salad. Fuck you.
Salads for rabbits. I'm not a rabbit.
Yeah. Okay, so let's think about this. Vince McMahon used a bunch of money to pay off fucking sluts.
Yeah, well,
He should be in the Hall of Fame. And you're just like, oh, fuck you, Mark.
I mean, the first 10 years. Yeah, I mean, even the first American Badass run is really good, but like he's for the Undertaker, so then the big evil one is bad.
I
Big
disagree.
Evil is
That's what he-
defiant.
The
Oh,
My
yeah.
Yard years are the best.
This is
He's
just like
my
a tired
yard.
guy who's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do all my promos sitting down. I want to ride a motorcycle because I want to sit down more.
Yeah, okay.
That's why.
So here's what we're gonna do in the match. Is it's a sitting contest. I sit in a chair. You sit in a chair. Whoever doesn't die wins. I
So
feel
3
like
years into his
giving you
run-
some heat. I'm gonna win. Lose. Fuck you. Go ahead.
3 years into his run, Tajiri is having some great matches with Rey Mysterio. He's in the cruiserweight division, which they actually would have done it. They had
The
think about this fucking-
loser weight division, more like.
But think about the fucking division they had going. They had Tajiri, Mysterio, Super Crazy, and they all gave him, with the exception of Mysterio, they all gave them gimmicks so racist, even saying them on a
Go ahead.
dedicated-
Let's get through them. Let's go through them, baby.
Oh, you want to know how they debuted Super Crazy and Psychosis as
Yes,
the
I would.
Mexicools, and they
Oh,
came out
yeah.
on riding lawnmowers,
On riding lawnmowers, and they actually
which is
nixed-
racist for the early 2000s, which now is like saying like, whoa, that guy's got a big dick for porn.
It was the first time I remember in wrestling that even the audience was like, "Whoa, can you not do this? Like I don't want to have to cheer for this. Like we will cheer for it, but like we don't want to. Could you not?" Like that was the first
No
time.
one liked it. No one liked it because they were like, it wasn't even like people booing it because you would do now where it's like a bunch of people who are like, oh, this is really awful. It was
Yeah.
more like, what the
I've been
fuck?
told I should have a girlfriend, and I know that girls don't like this, so boo the Mexicools. That's the wrestling thought, by the way, when those things are being booed. I've been told there might be women here. We better impress them. Boo.
Here's the thing about wrestling that I don't think gets talked about enough, and I'm surprised it took me like 7 full years for me to say this. Part of being a wrestling fan for I'd say 50 to 60% of wrestling fans is what if someone comes in and I'm watching this alone and the Mexicools were
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
that.
That's such a
where
great
it's like
point.
someone comes in and you're watching 3 Mexican guys come down to the ring on a riding lawnmower, and you're like, okay, whatever you want to watch.
So I live
fine.
this because I like wrestling, and I particularly like putting on like old wrestling pay-per-views in the background, especially if I'm just rolling emails. Now, if you live with your girlfriend, which I'm lucky enough to do, that means that what Dylan is describing is my life, and what you realize as a wrestling fan, well tenured for over 30 years of my life, I just don't know what people are going to react to. So I'm just sitting there, just having a nice time, you know what I mean? Just enjoying it, just watching John Tenta sit on a bunch of people. And my girlfriend made the great point. Why does he sit down on them? Why doesn't he just jump on them for more impact? And I have to be like, because he's the earthquake, and that's how the move works. Like, can we not fucking look at
Can
this?
you
Like,
stop finding very easy to find
Yeah.
flaws in wrestling?
this isn't Game of Thrones. This is wrestling. This was not written by people that read.
Just like I think I was talking about like sliding into the ring and back out of the ring, and like what it means to be in the ring versus out of the ring. We're during a count out, and we're like just happen to find so many flaws in it. And I'm like, yeah, you can't really talk about things in wrestling because you'll just find very clear flaws with it super easily.
Yeah, like it's also like, okay, why don't they just slide in and out of the ring all the time? I don't, because fuck you. I don't know. Stop it.
So, Tajiri and Jamie Noble feuded for a bit. If you remember Jamie Noble is obviously
He's who I always think is commenting about CTE, but that's a different guy.
that's Chris Nowinski.
It is Chris Nowinski, but I always think Jamie Noble and
They're
Chris
so
Nowinski.
different.
I know you're right. It's also how like I'm like Paul London and Billy Kidman are the same guy, and I'm like they're not very different people. Billy Kidman should be one of the more decorated wrestlers ever. Never got an opportunity. Paul London, man, loves to smile.
So they give Tajiri kind of like a stable of Akio and Sakota, and they wanted Akio.
Vince McMahon, by the way, thought that those were all the same guy.
Yeah, he was just like, okay. Yeah,
Tajiri's a
was
partner
like,
with Tajiri.
Whoa,
I don't know how he
himself,
did
and
it.
he's
Yeah.
got more friends. That's
Hello, Tajiri. How did you make clones of yourself? Because if you can do that, I'm gonna kill my fucking kids.
They try and make Tajiri portray a Japanese gangster, and he was worried that would anger the real Yakuza, so he said no.
I love Tajiri. Can you? Hey, we're in America. We've broken the mob to the point that we literally make fun of them in rude stereotypes, even though they're just murderers. Could you do that with your own organized crime? No, I'm not mocking the Yakuza. I'm not mocking the people that looked at corporations and organized crime and went, let's put that together, but with so much murder. Like the Yakuza, especially at this time, because they'd gotten to the point where they weren't allowed to carry, like they changed all the laws to stop them from beating the shit out of people all over Tokyo. So I think this is the period of time where the Yakuza were using bicycles to beat the fuck out of everyone, which let me say this right now. Fuck yeah. That's how you fucking organize
Using
crime.
bicycles?
They weren't allowed to carry any other type of weapon, but there's bicycles all over Tokyo. So if they wanted to fuck someone up, they just pick up a bicycle and huck it at them. And I got to say this right now. That's how you fucking do it. That's how you fucking do it.
That's
Wrestling
fucking
Review
crazy.
endorses
If
Yakuza.
that's true, that's nuts.
It
That's
is
like-
true. Wrestling
it's a
Review
backstage-
stands with Yakuza. We stand with them.
no, don't say that, you fucking asshole. So, he's in a 3-way dance, Tajiri is, at
I'll tell you
One
who else
Night
is in a
Stand
3-way dance with
2005.
us? The Yakuza.
No, we're not. I don't like them.
Well,
I don't particularly hate them either, though, I guess. I just
Smart.
don't want to. I don't want to.
I don't.
Oh,
yeah,
this is good. Tajiri moves on to a company called Hustle in Japan, and he wrestles a guy named Razor Ramon Hard Gay.
Does this podcast occasionally become sentient and then time travel?
Razor Ramon
Yo,
Hard
bro.
Gay.
Yo, Yoshiro, you're wrestle fucking Scott Hall, but super fucking into guys, bro.
I do like the idea of like, and this is Kevin Nash, super straight.
Yeah. And this is X-Pac experimental.
Bisexual Pac.
Yeah. And this is bisexual. This is Eric bisexual Zhishoff.
He moves on and he wrestles in Japan. Really, with this is the interesting thing about Tajiri is like he comes back and wrestles in Japan through New Japan and All Japan. He wrestles in Smash. Like, he really does a very long and storied career in Japan post WWE. We obviously remember him for the 4 years he was in WWE, but post that, or 5 years, I guess, if you count his one night stand run. No, sorry, he was in WWE for
like a shitload of a long time. Yeah, 8 years, and then he pops back to Japan. Kind of has a great run. I think he's still wrestling to this day.
Yeah, he's still wrestling to this day. Also, he also obviously was in TNA where for a hot minute where he just defeated a bunch of their signed wrestlers because let's go.
Also, I believe that he eventually faced the person that he was always accused of being a version of, the Great Muta in Japan, which resulted in possibly the greatest entrance in the history of wrestling, which is that guy makes a wish and the Great Muta comes back on the lamp and then he throws it at the ramp and then a bunch of steam rises. It's the fucking best. It's the only...
I don't know, man. The Hakushi where Hakushi climbs out of his own grave to fight the Undertaker and he does the entire match in dirt is pretty fucking amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That is like a special... it was like the mid 90s WWE where they like were basically just they're making any money they possibly could, so they were telling I don't forget what it was, but like they would Japanese company that they could just use whatever WWE character they wanted, the Undertaker, and the Undertaker faced Hakushi and Hakushi climbed out of his own grave.
Oh my god, I want to watch that right now.
It's pretty fucking crazy. Like, he wrestles and like he's taking bumps and dirt is just flying off of him, which is a crazy ask for a wrestler to be like, you're going to be fucking covered in dirt for long enough that it's just on you. Like,
I'm okay that he's dirty because it gets more dirt in my yard.
Yeah, so then it resoils my yard.
I need someone to I don't need to fucking pay that 11-year-old. I don't fucking resod my yard. Fucking Hakushi's just going to pop in. He'll resod in my yard.
So he wrestles for Smash. He wrestles for.
Are you making these wrestling companies up? Hustle, Smash, Hyperbole.
No, this is the thing. Wrestling in Japan don't obey the 3 letters, 3
I know.
words
I
thing.
love it. I dig it a lot. I like that they're just like, what's this wrestling company? Hope.
People.
Yeah. Sunshine wrestling friends. Welcome to the barbed wire. Welcome to the barbed wire. Fuck you in the face match here in Teddy Bear.
It is, if you're like me, hard to get into. I remember it was like what company was it called? I think it was Dragon Gate USA. Dragon Gate USA, they had a title called the Open the Freedom Gate title. It's like, I don't know who you can get in a company and make me care about who wins the Open the Freedom Gate
go
title.
Fuck yourself. It's the same. I will tell you this.
Unless the Highlander walks through and you have a real sword fight. Then
of course, yes. If it's the fucking Kurgan versus a Frenchman who's inexplicably Scottish, yeah, I'm fucking there. But any other scenario, go fuck yourself. It's the way that I actually hate the FTW belt in AEW. Can I just say this as we end this episode? And may I just say this? I love Tajiri. I love that we talked about Tajiri. I think that he's the best. I think that more people should buy his merch. If you see Tajiri, just be like, yo, man, I want to hug you. But only if he wants to. I fucking hate the FTW belt. I hate that it's in 2 promotions. I hate it so much. Could we have just left the $1 million belt gimmick alone? That was great. We didn't need to do it 80 times. Suck me.
I like the idea of the FTW belt and the $1 million belt in companies like WWE was in WWF was in the late 80s and AEW started out as, which is there's no belts and having a belt is a real crazy thing. And then some guys like, I have a belt, because it's like, what a fucking dick. You have you don't have a belt. Only, the champion, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, Jericho, these guys get the belt. You don't get the belt. You're a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean?
I agree
like
completely.
That makes sense to me. But like when it's like they have like 9,000 belts now, it's like, of course you fucking have. You know what I mean? Like, of course you have. It makes no sense to have a. Who cares? Just win a belt off of one of these other fucking losers. You know?
Yeah. I'm the loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just beat up some fan in the crowd for their belt.
Yeah, exactly. Give me your fucking belt, man. I want if I can have studs.
Exactly.
I want to say this about Tajiri, and I would say it is Tajiri should be watched by the Young Bucks, should be watched. But a lot of the
he
AEW
was.
roster could
And
be
he wrestled them because he wrestled in the Cruiserweight Classic
Be
as
better.
well in
Be
NXT.
better.
He had a little comeback to WWE in 2016, 2017.
He certainly did, but it's again one of those things where Tajiri, as a smaller wrestler, really shows how to be intimidating, different, and unique. And I think that that is something that can be learned in modern wrestling, where a lot of people literally go like, "I'm going to do the style of this guy," but now, where it's Tajiri is taking elements of other things he learned from Japanese and Mexican wrestling and adapting it for himself in the American style, then bringing that to the world. And that's exactly what I want to see. His matches are always interesting and engaging. He's a versatile performer. He uses what he can, and if he can't use it, well, then guess what he does? He moves to another company called Swill.
Yeah. Think about this, though. When he arrives in ECW, he's great in ECW early on, but he really gets his character, well, probably 5 years into wrestling, which is pretty much... There's a lot more left on the table back then, too. Like, there's, this is... When he comes of age, he's one of the first guys to be like a 190-pound wrestler who's on like American television. So it's like a lot easier for him to stand out. Right now, it's like now the way to stand out is seemingly like be 6'6", 280, and just be like, my finishing move is a double axe handle.
Yeah, you basically Brian Cage is about to become the.
Brian Cage is like 5'8". He doesn't stand out anyway.
Is Brian Cage 5'8"? I always think of him as
Brian
being
Cage
a
is
big.
very short.
Really?
That's why he's never been signed by I guarantee Vince McMahon was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. No.
Little baby, want to kiss him?
Can I eat you?
Are you one of the Road Warriors, but you're 10?
Yeah, he keeps just throwing up on Brian Cage. What's wrong with you?
Ew,
Are you a toilet? You're a toilet.
You're a toilet for my loads.
Here's my question, ladies and gentlemen, as we end the episode. How many more days until Enzo debuts in AEW?
Ooh.
They're going to have to do something.
3.
Yeah, I think Enzo shows up.
That's what they need. They need
Enzo.
more wrestlers. They need to
Correct.
hire anyone that's ever. They should hire Todd Bridges too. He was on Reality. They just need to like. Tony Khan's just addicted to that. He watches for sure. He just watches, which I obviously have a ton. Is debut and return pops, and he just wants that to be his wrestling
best.
company, which is like, no man, you need to like have them do things.
No, man,
Anyway.
you also need to not have a champion who's got a weird sweaty chest hair face, and I fucking hate. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone suck my
No, we
fucking
gotta do
asshole.
best and worst, you stupid fuck.
Best thing about Tajiri is that he was born. Worst thing about Tajiri is that he will die one day. Best thing about Tajiri, I'm going to say, is dem kicks. I think that it's an absolute. I think it's an absolute asset to the business. I think everyone could learn from how he made all of those moves that were done.
He says, John.
The business.
Hunter
I'm in.
Hastings.
I'm John Hunter McMahon Hastings. And I think that I think he is a much more of an innovator than he gets the credit for.
Yeah, he's not someone you would immediately think of when you think of innovators, but that's because he has never like left a company in a huff or turned down anything except for, hey, you're in the Yakuza, and he was like, no.
Please don't get my family killed by a bunch of people wielding bicycles.
Here's my favorite thing about Tajiri, and it's something he lost because he was in WWE and he was no longer in a cruiserweight promotion.
Go
I
ahead.
really like that his finishing move in ECW was the Brainbuster, because it's one of those things where it's like the coolest thing about him was his kicks, but his kicks weren't the finisher in the match, so he could do them the entire match and make them fun rather than constantly doing your own finisher. And it's like, okay, these kicks are really devastating. Well, then why hasn't he just finished the match 1,000 times already?
Completely. I also think that he was one of those. I always love a guy who has a move that you can't actually do. The tarantula being one is that you're using the ropes. It's broken, but it was just that match looks that move just looks so fucking like what the fuck that it's sort of cool that you get it for 5
Tarantula
seconds and it's
kinda
gone.
Broke ECW though, because ECW is supposed to be every match is no DQ, and he just stops having the tarantula in. Like, why it's no DQ? He should be able to keep that move on for.
It's a
as
great
long
point.
as
That's a
he
great
wants.
point that I never noticed. Refused to notice. I
That's
refused.
the thing about ECW that was stupid, where it's like,
That's
okay,
what
this
was
is no
stupid about
DQ.
ECW, Dylan. That's what was stupid.
Sexism was good. Everything else was good. It's just the rope stuff. No, the ropes thing was like, it's no DQ. You can bring a real gun in. Look at New Jack. He brought the LAPD, and they're going to beat up every single wrestler who's holding cigarettes because they think cigarettes are illegal in New York. But if you fucking touch those ropes, I'll fucking kill your whole family. Like,
I just like the idea that he's bringing a fucking gun to the ring.
the gun's on the ropes. Throw it out.
Yeah,
Well, rules are rules. My name is the Nightmare Pedophile. I'm a
Whoa! The Nightmare Pedophile? That guy would have
Yeah.
been ECW television champion for 2 years.
The world TV title. If Rob Van Dam loses, he has to find and give the pedophile a hard drive.
Oh my god!
He has to find it first in a bunch of vignettes.
Who else,
Here's a
by the
little
way,
hint. He's gonna
can-
lose.
I recommend
gonna
everyone here get the Patreon video for this episode only because you get to watch 3 minutes of Dylan do customer service work. And then at the end, you can watch his eyes shift back and forth as he starts that riff. And it's like, oh no, there's only one way I can take this hard turn.
Thank you guys so much for listening and for being
Thank
woke to
you.
the lies of
Yeah,
the
that's right.
left.
That's correct. Thank you, everyone here, for realizing that the lamestream media has corrupted us.
Mm.
Now let us all worship at the toes of our one and true king, PewDiePie.
Boop on your nose. Bye bye.